Right, grade 12s, I'm back. Okay, in this one we're looking at question 2 and 3 of your September 2020 theory paper. Let's go. Right, so question number 2 focused on matching the columns. I know you'll probably remember that. Looks like a nightmare to some of you, unfortunately. Okay, but yes, we were matching up the term to the definition. Okay, so let's see what they gave you and how we can help you better understand that. Right, so the first one says a program that searches the web. Okay, so there's already your first clue. For web pages relevant to the keywords or phrases entered by the person looking for information. Think about it. Where do you go to find info? You go to Google. What do? You type in certain phrases or keywords, hoping to find websites that link up to that. So that is going to be a search engine. Please, when they also ask you for examples of search engines, Google is always going to be one of them, right? So do remember, a search engine program, number one, it's a program and it searches for information on the web for you. That's the purpose behind it, right? Number 2, a process where a project is funded by multiple small donations from many contributors, and that is crowdfunding. I have explained it in another video. Number 3, an example of a popular free online office suite, and that's going to be something like Google Docs. So remember, with Google Docs you have a free version that you use online covering things like Word, Excel and PowerPoint. For folks who don't have that, that facility is there. So that's an example of a free online office suite. Number 4, a communication technology that requires a pairing process. Now that's something like Bluetooth. Okay, when you have your two phones connected, you'll pick up that the one has Bluetooth, the other one has it, pairing to things like a Bluetooth speaker. That's what that technology is there for. So that's the communication technology that requires pairing. So the two have to pair up, you know, like you and your girlfriend or you and your boyfriend pairing up. Okay. Next one, a technique used by ISPs. Now what's an ISP? It is an internet service provider. So a technique used by them to prioritize some services. Ooh, some of you are facing this. I know I've had my fair share of that. It's called shaping. Now, we had the term previously called throttling, where during peak times, these ISPs actually limit the amount of bandwidth you have. So if you have a 10 meg internet line, and maybe during 5 to 7 o'clock, they actually throttle that down to about 5 megs to accommodate everyone. But when your line is shaped as well, like they're saying, it's used to prioritize some services. So what this means is that when you are surfing the internet and downloading, they will prioritize the surfing of the internet. So your normal browsing, going to Facebook, checking through things, finding information for assignments, they prioritize that. In other words, most of the bandwidth will go there, and another section of the bandwidth will go to downloads. So you might find that you using the internet at home and surfing the net is brilliant, but downloading takes forever. And this is because of shaping. Okay, so many internet lines, when you do go for one, ask them, is it shaped? Is it unshaped? Is it capped, uncapped? That's gonna determine a lot of what you can do with that line. Okay, moving on. A protocol, now what is a protocol? It's a set of rules. Okay, I know many of you don't like rules, but yeah, rules are fun. Okay, so a protocol, rules for sending large files over the internet, and we know that one is our file transfer protocol. So FTP, file transfer protocol, the rules as to how files are going to be sent over the internet. Next one, a file type including both video and audio content. Okay, and that's going to be MP4. Now, if they had something like AVI, if they had maybe MKV as well, those are also fine. So just understand and know a few examples of those extensions. I know many of you do. You know these files from the movies that you've downloaded. So you know this very well, okay? Right. Last three. Next one, a device that can be used to store data permanently. Okay, now, when it comes to storing data permanently in a PC, we do not mean that it's never going to be erased. No. That's not what it means. What it means when it comes to a PC is that when the PC is switched off, when I go and press that power button and it's off, and I switch it back on, guess what? The data's still there, okay? So that's what is meant by permanent storage on a PC. Remember with your RAM, we said it's volatile, it changes. So whatever's stored in RAM, when I switch the PC off, that gets erased, it's cleared, and when I start up the PC, everything's out of RAM. So when we think of permanent storage, you've got to think of things like a hard drive. In grade 12, they will use the term SSD for your solid state drive because we're talking more about that. In fact, most PCs now have leaned towards SSD simply because there's no moving parts in it. Okay, so, and it's faster. So that you're looking for hard drive or you're looking for SSD. If they say flash disk, you could possibly use that as well. But remember, when they talk about permanent storage, it's a case of when you switch it off, when you take it out, the flash drive, the data doesn't disappear. Okay, if your data disappears, you've got problems on your PC. Next one, software. So it's a program that allows a computer to communicate with hardware or other devices. And this is a driver. Remember, a driver, we're not talking about the guy that sits in front of the car or sits in front of the taxi. No, not that driver. We're talking about a piece of software between, say, your printer and your PC, right? So you get a new printer and you plug it into the PC via the cable or wireless or whatever it is, and the PC is like, what is this? What is this thing that you are plugging in? So you usually get a CD with it, or you can download the software, which then that driver software tells the PC, hey, listen, hello, wake up. What I'm plugging in here is a printer. This is the make and model of the printer. This is what it can do. This is what it allows the individual to do. So here's everything you need. PC says, thank you. Okay, now I recognize who this is. And that driver allows the two to communicate. So it's a program, remember, that allows a computer to communicate with hardware or other devices. And then the last one in your match the columns, they're talking about a utility. Now we know these utilities are usually built into the operating system that can be used to make more storage space available by deleting unnecessary files. And this is the one known as disk cleanup. So please bear in mind, disk cleanup does not just delete everything off your PC to get more storage space. No, it's not what it does. Okay, disk cleanup, all it's going to do is delete unnecessary files, temporary files, cached files. It gets rid of that so that you have more space to work on your PC, because these files usually do take up quite a bit of space. Okay, let's move on to the next one, question number 3. It's just 5 of them, and that was the true and false that you can see over there. So remember, when you indicated something was true, you didn't have to justify it. It's true. It stays true. It's true. It's done. It's true. Okay? However, when it's false, you have to indicate why. So for example, number 1, application software, and they had it underlined, controls and manages the resources on a computer. That's a lie. Okay? It's false. An application software performs a specific task. System software manages and controls the PC. Okay? So that one is false, and then you had to say system software. The next one, they say a hotspot is an area where you can obtain wireless access to the internet. That is true. Think of KFC, McDonald's, where you go and rip off the internet. Yes, I know some of you go into McDonald's, come back out, go back in, because you've only got like 30 minutes or 20 minutes. The next one, OCR software. Now, when they say OCR, what does it stand for? Optical character recognition. In other words, this is a program that when it scans, let's say this page, it actually recognizes those characters on the page and is able to give you a digital version which you can then go and edit. Okay, brilliant stuff. So OCR software is used to convert scanned images of text into text that can be edited. Is that true? Yes, that is very true. Okay, next one. Phishing, not normal phishing, please. Okay, PH. Phishing redirects users to false websites without them even knowing it, and we know that's not true. No. Phishing, just like your normal phishing, is where you are trying to bait someone. Okay? I'm sure many of you have seen or heard of the term clickbait, where even in YouTube videos they will have a thumbnail and they'll say something like cheat codes for every game, and then you go into it and then the guy says there's no such thing as cheat codes for every game. But I'm glad you're here, let's go for it. So it's a way of phishing, a way of getting your attention and bringing you into the video, right? So that's not phishing. What they're referring to, and that's false, is farming. Farming is where you are redirected to a site that looks similar to the original site, but it's actually a fake site. Phishing is where you are sent SMSs, emails, things like that, where they are just trying to hook you, to bait you, okay? Last one, add-on software such as flash players extend the capabilities of a browser. Now we know that is also false. It's not an add-on, it's what we call a plug-in. So a plug-in is a small piece of software that gets added onto the browser, so it gets plugged into the browser, and again this is purely software. And it allows extended capabilities, such as being able to play Flash Player info. So that's question 2 and 3. Hope it's been of value. If you've got any questions, please do reach out to me. Let me know how I can help you. But for now, let's end this video. Let's move on to question number 4. I'll see you in the next one.